everyone, I am back with another English-y video, hence the English teacher garb that I seem to be wearing today. Today, I want to talk about Frankenstein. Yeah. Okay, so this book is a horror, a gothic horror, I think. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. But I do know that it has sparked one of the craziest things that we think of when we think of horror and monsters, which is the Frankenstein monster. You know, this guy? We've seen him in VeggieTales. He's pretty identifiable with the screws in his head. And what did you know? That is not what's described in this book. People saw a monster and they were like, yes, let's name him Frankenstein. And then they just stole him. And unless you've read this book, you won't understand exactly why that's so irksome to English majors and literature people. Let's see if I can find the description of his monster. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm just gonna read you a little bit of the beginning of chapter 4. It was on a dreary night of November that I beheld the accomplishment of my toils. With an anxiety that almost amounted to agony, I collected the instruments of life around me, that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing that lay at my feet. It was already 1 in the morning. The rain pattered dismally against the panes, and my candle was nearly burnt out, when, by the glimmer of the half-extinguished light, I saw the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathed hard, and a convulsive motion agitated its limbs. How can I describe my emotions at this catastrophe, or how delineate the wretch whom, with such infinite pains and care, I had endeavored to form? His limbs were in proportion, and I had selected his features as beautiful. Beautiful! Great God! His yellow skin scarcely covered the work of muscles and arteries beneath. His hair was of a lustrous black, and flowing, his teeth of a pearly whiteness, but these luxuriances only formed a more horrid contrast with his watery eyes, that seemed almost of the same color as the dun white sockets in which they were set, his shriveled complexion and straight black lips. He's not describing a monster. He's describing a very beautiful, man-made human being. And I think everybody missed that point, because we heard he created a creature, and we were like, horror! Okay, also, Frankenstein is the doctor, and if you have heard that before, I'm gonna say it again anyway. Frankenstein is the doctor. Frankenstein's creature is the monster that we so often refer to. And the real question of this book is, who is the real monster? Because this whole time, Dr. Frankenstein is like, hey, I created an abomination. I think we should all kill it. Meanwhile, his creature is like, hey-o, I'm a 2-year-old in the body of an adult man, and I think I want to go learn some languages, and maybe fall in love. And all the monster wants, all the creature wants, this whole time, is a family and human affection and to be treated as an equal. And if that isn't something that we can all relate to, I don't know what is. But the biggest question that this book asks is, what is the nature of man? Which, if you've been part of English classes before, you've heard that question a lot. And this book was my favorite weapon in my arsenal of books when the AP test came about. So much so, for my entire class, that my teacher insisted that we not use Frankenstein for every single essay, because we could use this book for every single essay. So if you're in AP and you need a book that you, pay attention to this book, because no matter what you do, you can pretty much use this book to support your argument, which is super helpful when you're trying to write an AP essay. Long story short, though, this book is phenomenal. Beautifully written. Now I really want to go reread it. Also, it's when I was reading this book in high school, it was the very first time that my cat that we'd owned for a very long time had ever sat on my lap by choice. And so I have very fond memories of this book, which is completely beside the point. But I just flipped open to another page that I had underlined because of the annotation, and I must pursue and destroy the being to whom I gave existence. Then my lot on earth will be fulfilled, and I may die. If that isn't both beautiful prose and also highly poetic and also makes you wonder and think about literally everything in your life, I don't know what will. Anyway, Frankenstein, great book. Frankenstein is the doctor, not the creature. The creature at one point wants to learn French and speaks it beautifully, I think, if I remember right. He spends a while stalking people, which is not okay. But he's trying to learn how to be a human because his closest thing to a father figure that he had, Dr. Frankenstein, sent him running for the hills. Good job, Mary Shelley. You did a good thing here. Also, this entire book was written out of spite, sort of. It started as a who can write the best horror story between Mary Shelley, I think her brother, and possibly and one of their friends. And they all were like, oh no, she's a woman. She can't write the best horror story. And then she was like, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so then she wrote this one, which is a classic that people are still reading and analyzing today. So that's cool. Go Mary Shelley. Way to write something fantastic. Thanks for coming to this book rant. It's sort of a, AP Lit book rant. It's kind of the vibe, the mood I'm in for the rest of October, so enjoy. If you like this video, like and subscribe and share it with your friends, and if you are looking for more videos about books that I read in AP Literature, and more books that more just things that you want to understand about and why classics are the way that they are and why they're so beautiful and why people will still read them today, I'm going to keep making these videos, so stay tuned for my English Professor Jory videos. Go forth, read good books. I will see you next time. Bye.